Yo, what's good my people? Welcome back to the SillyMMA channel, and we have a problem, and Ilia Topuria versus Olivera is that problem, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking at this fight, we're hyped. International Fight Week, vacant lightweight belt, Islam's moved up, but this fight is a problem, you know, and you might not know, but you're gonna know after this video. Before we get into the video, please leave a like and subscribe, all of the good stuff. Leave a comment, check out my recent content. We've had some good content coming out, and let's get into the video. Okay, so you may be wondering, hey, SillyMMA, why is this a problem? It's a fun fight, it's a good fight, two likeable guys. But listen, Arman Tsarukyan beat Olivera last year, and Olivera has the chance to become champion. What is a UFC champion? The UFC champion, stated quote unquote by Dana White, is the best fighter in the world, the best fighter in that division. But how can Charles have the chance to be the best fighter in the division, but he's literally lost to Arman? He's lost to Arman Tsarukyan. He has a chance to become the champ when he lost to someone just a year ago, yeah? And he isn't getting the shot because of business behind the UFC, you know. Arman's not getting the shot because he pulled out of a fight, but that shouldn't matter. The UFC is the best fight of the best, and Dana White is a grown-ass man. He has to develop, he has to grow around that. Oh yeah, he pulled out, but he's the best fighter in the world. The belt is not a gimmick. Unless you want it to be a gimmick, then say that. But Arman should be getting the shot, and Olivera getting the chance to win the belt when he lost to Arman just recently is unbelievably embarrassing and just cringe, you know. The UFC is as the best of the best, but we keep seeing a whole of undeserved shots and bad things for each division. Man, Topuria, you could be saying, yeah, he's non-ranked, he's only won one at lightweight on short notice and all that, but he's done his work at featherweight, you know. Olivera is like, he's done nothing. He's on the same win streak as Paddy Pimblett, Michael Chandler. He lost to Arman, and we know Olivera is a legend. He has a chance to beat, like, he doesn't have a chance to beat Topuria, but you know, it's not like Dariush got the shot. But he lost to Arman. Arman is the #1 guy, and it's alright if the loss was a while ago and they've had a clear trajectory, you know, like Buckley and Holland. Kevin Holland beat Buckley. It doesn't mean if Buckley becomes champ there's going to be outrage, because Buckley's had a completely different career since then. He's been a completely person, he's developed, he's grown, he's shown that, you know. But Olivera vs Arman was last year, UFC 300 featured fight, yeah, and Olivera beat Chandler, and now he's getting the shot over Arman. And you could be saying, yeah, Arman got the shot and he wasted his opportunity. It doesn't matter if he wasted the opportunity or he fucked up the UFC. He's the best in the world. Give him the shot, you know? And it's not the first time we've seen this. Yeah, O'Malley vs Vera #2, UFC 299. It was booked when Vera had lost to Sandhagen just a year earlier. And Sandhagen was in a 3-fight win streak, like Rob Font did the show, like whatever the fuck it was. Yeah? And that was at the time of Marley and Vera getting booked. And it only got booked due to history, due to beef. But the UFC needs to get away from that ideology. You need to get away from the entertainment thing. You know, it's being distracted by the spectacle of certain matchups. We would rather see O'Malley versus Sandhagen back then, deep down, you know. We might be a few up in the fight in the press conference getting hyped, but if it was O'Malley versus Sandhagen, the whole build-up would be like, oh, I can't wait. Technical fight, good fight, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? We knew O'Malley was gonna pull down Vera's pants and whip it in. Yeah, we knew that, and we only got hyped like one day before, like, oh, maybe Vera could do this. But we need real fights, real contender fights in each UFC weight class. And with the Olivera Arman situation, you know, we're gonna be gassed. We're gonna be gassed for Olivera fighting. You know, yeah, good name. We're excited for this fight. That's only because we love Charles the Bronx. You know, everyone loves Olivera in this game, you know. And if Olivera becomes champ, Arman skipped him. You know, deep down, we know Arman is the right fight. Unless you agree that, you know, because Arman pulled out. But I don't believe that, you know. And if Olivera becomes champ when he has a #1 contender that beats him, that's crazy. And I bet the UFC wouldn't even book that if Olivera becomes champ. That's crazy. And once again, it also shows the weakness of the UFC rankings. This is not at lightweight, this is at every weight class. The #2 guy getting a shot over the #1 guy that beat him fair and square, and this is constantly being fucked up by the UFC. Just like, even look at the featherweight rankings. First of all, why is Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria still in there? Holloway has a lightweight fight booked against Dustin Poirier. He's made it clear he's moving up to lightweight. There's no chance Ilia comes back down to lightweight. He's not cutting that weight anymore. He's moved up. He's got a title fight booked. If he becomes a champ at lightweight, why would he come back to featherweight? They're both gone for the foreseeable future. And if you're going to keep them there, make it make sense. Don't fuck it up. Holloway is the #1 contender, and Ilia is #3. How is he #3? If you're going to keep him there, Topuria has to be #1 contender. How did he knocked out Holloway in August? Oh my word. Lost your mind, bro. Lost your mind. It was October, not August. But bro, Topuria's number 1, how is he number 3? And he shouldn't even be in the rankings. And the use of the rankings is rubbish. 5th ranked, Chito Vera getting a shot. Olivera, who lost to Armin, getting a shot. 8th ranked, Khalil Roundtree got a shot over fucking Anklaev, who was on a massive win streak, at the time. 8th ranked Stipe had been knocked out 4 times by Ngannou. Wait, what? They had not been knocked out 4 times, but he was knocked out 4 years earlier by Ngannou. He came back and got the shot over the interim champ, non-ranked Asakura. He didn't even have a fight in the UFC, and yeah, coming up, if he gets a shot at 320, I might have to just stop watching the UFC, go to Glory, or 1FC, or Pride, or whatever the Pride. It's 2016, what? Yo, I'm waffling, I'm stressed. It doesn't make sense. You're booking money fights over the rightful contenders in each division, and there should be certain title fights being made, the right title fights being made, like Bilal vs Edwards at the time. Bilal was on a massive streak, and even that one took ages to materialise. Colby Covington got the shot over Bilal Muhammad, and O'Malley vs Merab won. That was the right fight, you know. Merab should have got the shot over Vera back then as well, but you know what I mean, it doesn't make sense. You need to rate the right fights, and this is the problem. The UFC giving full control over matchmaking. When Dana White, when Mannion, when all these guys have their hands greasy, buttocks, dirty hands over the matchmaking, the UFC belt is losing value. You know, it doesn't resemble the best in the world anymore. It resembles the winner of a particular fight on the night that happens to have a belt strapped to it in some cases, you know. Belt becomes a marketing gimmick, not a symbolic object. Not, yeah, I'm a UFC champ. It's more like, oh, I got a shit shot and I managed to fluke my way to this, you know. The belt feels like the guy won the matchup, not that the guy is the best in the world. And that's the problem, man. The UFC needs to stop forcing stars, forcing big names, forcing big money fights upon us, you know. Let the rival contenders develop into that. Let them move. You know, us UFC fans, we like the spectacle of it all. But us hardcore fans, you know, the UFC needs to stop entertaining the casuals. They know why. You've got enough money. UFC Zufa, you've got enough money. Stop stealing, stop making the money fights and stealing the correct fights from us. You know, give the rival contenders their shot and make it move smoothly. You win, you get the shot, you beat that guy, you get the shot over him. Olivera getting the shot over Armin just shows the state that the UFC is in right now, you know? And what's the point of having the rankings if in some cases you're going to ignore them? You know, then there's a number 1 guy, there's a number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, blah, 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 blah. That's an order. That's not a random number. Say, oh yeah, Lucky Dip, you pick that number, yeah, you're number 1. People earn their spot in the division in most cases. And if you earn your spot, you have to fight at your spot. Khalil Roundtree, 8th ranked, he needs to fight up 5th ranked or fight down 10th ranked, depending on where he was in his career. I can't really remember. I mean, he was literally getting pulled off for steroids and he got a shot. I just remember that. But you know, you should be fighting your ranking. You shouldn't be 8th ranked 4 years after a knockout loss to Ngannou and coming back against John Jones, the heavyweight champ, when you have an interim champ. The rankings need to mean something. What do the rankings mean? Are they just there to cover up what the UFC is whipping up backstage? It doesn't make sense, the UFC prioritizing short-term hype, you know, oh, this one will get us hype, this one gets hype, over long-term credibility of the belt, you know, fan-friendly matchups over the right matchups, and even the right matchups are right. They're fan-friendly. Might as well Evloev is entertaining. I don't care what you say. It's had some shit fights. If you think Volk versus Evloev would be a bad fight, you've lost your mind. Volk versus Evloev would be infinitely better than Yair Rodriguez. Topuria versus Armin would be infinitely better than Charles Olivera. Olivera gets hurt in the first round of every fucking fight. If you think Topuria isn't putting him to sleep, you've lost your mind. Crazy, alright? But that is it. That is my short rant over. This is a very valid rant. Let me know your thoughts on the whole situation in the comments. Tell me who you got, Topuria versus Olivera. If you don't have Topuria by KO in the first 3 rounds, you are dumb. You're an idiot. You're an absolute menace to society and should never have access to a UFC pay-per-view ever in your life. So let me go over the main reasons why this fight is a problem. You know, it diminishes the value of the belt. There's no point of the rankings. Armin beat Olivera. He's not getting the shot. We've seen this multiple times. The weakness of the rankings, the uncredibility of the belt. The UFC needs to sort their shit out. Thanks for watching. Shout out SillyMMA.